Alright, so I think Easy Agent 13 C tier card. She's not amazing in the deck archetype she wants to be playing in, but she's like decent. Agent Coulson, I think Loki Devil Dinosaur is pretty good. Agent Coulson isn't crazy in his deck, but he's a decent card to play, so I'll place him in B. American Chavez, this is the old one, but I'll be evaluating the newer version, the 2 cost 3 power version of her. And I think I'm not sure why people are playing it. I think it's sleeper. I don't really think it's any good. Angel, Wiz card Marvel Snap, easy F tier. Angela, got in like bounce decks, got in like Kitty Pryde decks. Not the craziest deck, so I'll put it in B because it's solid. Ant-Man, I'm gonna put him in C. I think they're better one drops. He's a 1/4 for just filling up a lane, so he's decent power for cost, but I just don't think the decks he's good in are any good. Apocalypse, I think is an A tier. I think Discard is back this season. I think Apocalypse Discard mainly is back. Hella Discard, always insane. Armor, I think S tier, easy. I think Armor is just so strong. It protects, if you're playing a large deck, like you're trying to ramp, it's great into that. It's great into like defeating Destroyer decks. It's good into a lot of different type of archetypes. It's good for like offense and defense, insane card. Autumn Zola, put it in B tier. I think it's good in Mr. Negative decks. It's okay in like Destroy decks, but I really think it shines the most in a Mr. Negative deck, and it's a decent card. Tuma, I think is terrible. I mean, you can play it with armor, but that just shows how strong armor is and not how strong Tuma is. So I put an F tier. What's even his name? Baroth? Baroth, F tier. I don't know why you would play this. Well, I do know you would play it with where is he? I can't find him right now, but plus for every card your opponent has in hand, gains plus attack, plus power. That's why you play it. It's not really good, so I'll put him in F tier, kind of sleeper. If he had one more power, maybe he would be good, but at 2, 3 is not really it. Bast, really good in Cerebro 3 decks, really good play. I don't think Cerebro 3 is really it, but it's decent, so I'll put it in B tier. Beast, amazing in bounce deck. I don't really think bounce decks are good right now. I'll put it in B tier. Bishop, I'm gonna put him in B tier, but he might be a C tier card. The deck archetype again just isn't there, but he's like a decent play, but he's like not as even impactful as Beast. Black Bolt, I think he's a B tier card, solid stat line, discard being back, really good. And just hand disruption can just be so annoying. Black Cat, I think that's our first D tier. The card is decent, like you discard it from your hand, it's good for like Hella, basically just guarantee like Hella has something to discard. That's basically the only purpose this card serves. But like at what it does, it's good, but it's just like, do you really want to be doing that? Not really, so I put it in D tier, but maybe you can argue for C. Black Panther, it's good in a Mr. Negative deck, but other than Mr. Negative, like a dedicated Black Panther deck, I think it's just worse than playing Mr. Negative. Black Widow, I think she's an A tier card. She's changed now. She's 3 cost. I think she has 4 power now. She might have 5 power. Same thing. Still puts a Widow's Bite in your opponent's hand. It denies them draw. Just amazing. Just denying your opponent. Like draw is so important in this game. Being able to deny them 1 for like a decent power stat line. It's pretty good. Blade. I'm gonna play Blade in B tier. He is targeted discard. Targeted discard is the best discard. He's 1/3, which is a good stat line as well. But like, I'm just not a fan of him. I think any deck that plays Blade, if you don't play Blade, you'll do fine. Blue Marvel, I'm gonna put him in C tier. He's not super flashy. He's like okay in a lot of different decks, but he's not amazing in any of those decks. And the deck he's really good at, he's just not really needed. Like again, Mr. Negative makes him decent, but other than that, he's not good. Brood, I'm gonna put Brood in A tier. Brood is the reason to play like a lot of these cards, like Bass, like Blue Marvel, because he just stats up so good. He's so good in with Silver Surfer decks as well. I just don't think the deck archetype is that good, but like Brood makes it work. Bucky Barnes, easy S tier, A tier, sorry. Every destroy package wants this guy. He's 2/1, which like isn't the best stat line, but once you destroy him, he becomes a 2/6, which is an amazing stat line. Cards like Carnage here, cards like Destroy, like any cards that just wants to destroy, like a Venom, like a Deadeye, loves to destroy Bucky because you just gain plus stats. Plus, destroying him decreases the cost of your death, so that's also really good. Cable, easy C tier, decent card. He's not still, again, what he does in the archetype, like, you can miss him with that card, piss any other card instead of him, it would probably play well, but he still gets the job done. Captain America, I don't put him in D tier. He does what he's supposed to do. You fill up a lane, he's like, he's a 3-6, which is decent, but like, there's better ways to get 3-6s, and there's more impactful ways to get 3-6s, so I don't even want to put him in C tier. Captain Marvel, I'm going to put in F tier. I don't know who is playing Captain Marvel, and if they're playing it, they're probably actively hurting their deck, so I'll put in F tier. Carnage, another A tier, just one of the best destroy tools in like any destroy deck ever. 2 cost, really cheap for destroy effect, destroys all cards in the lane, and for every card in the lane, gain +2 power. This guy can become a beast really fast. Cerebro, I'm going to put him in B tier. I'm not super big fan of Cerebro deck. Cerebro 3 I think is the best deck. But I just think there's just so much better things to do in Marvel Snap than playing a Cerebro deck. Cloak, I'm going to put him in A tier. I think move is really good. I feel like it's really hard. And Cloak is running every move list. I don't know why you're not running this guy. This guy's actually just the MVP. 2 cost, 4 power, good stat line. Has the ability so you can move any of your cards to the location he's playing in next turn. Your opponent can as well, but you don't really care about your opponent doing that. Unless they're playing a move list. But even then, like, it's still fine. Because like, you're the one who knows it's going to happen. So you get to play around it first. Next up we have Carleen Wing. I think Carleen Wing's an A tier card, but I'll put her in B tier. Personally, I play her in like almost all of my discard decks that isn't a Hela deck, but a lot of people cut her out. I think she's really good if you play like Swarm, if you play Wolverine. But if you're playing Wolverine and Swarm, you don't really want Carleen Wing. And she does fight because you want to play her on turn 2, but you also want to play Morbius on turn 2, so she fights for that slot. Next up, I think is Colossus. I'm going to put him in D tier. Again, he does what he wants to do, but like he's so bad, you better just doing anything else. Playing it like a 2-3 that can't get destroyed just isn't that good. Yeah, he's just so sleeper. Like I'm just sleep. Cosmo, another A tier card. If your opponent is playing a reveal deck, it just shuts it down basically. It's nuts. It does have the downside of shutting down your reveal cards as well. But if reveal was like more in meta right now, you probably could see it as an A tier card. But I just don't. The fact that it stops you as well, it kind of like forces you to play a certain archetype that you might otherwise want to play. So I'm gonna leave him in A tier, but could be an S tier card. Crossbones, another D tier card. He's 4-8, good stat lines. You have to be winning the lane to place him. Is like if you're winning the lane, you normally don't want to place him there anyway. You want to place it somewhere else to try and win a lane. So he's kind of annoying like that, but he's just solid stats. But again, there's way more better things you want to be doing. Crystal, I think he's an A tier. You and your opponent both draw a card. Again, I think drawing cards is so valuable in this game. Giving your opponent a card is quite annoying. But if you play Crystal in a certain archetype, or a certain way, you're able to draw like your whole deck, all 12 cards. I mean, if you're playing like an Exodia type deck, you're way easier to pull off the combo. Cyclops, I think another A tier card. He's not that good in the Patriot version. Well, like he is in Patriot, but like Patriot isn't that strong. But in the High Evo version, this card is insane. He'll zap your opponent's cards, minusing their power every turn, as long as you have leftover energy. If he zaps it once, he's a 3-6. If he zaps more than once, he's a 3-8. So it's like he's huge value, huge value. Dagger, I put it in B tier. I do think move is good. I think she's good in move, but she's not like super high priority. Like you want to play her every turn you have her in your hand. So I'll put her in B tier. Daredevil, I think it's an S tier card. Might even be an A tier card. I'll put him in A tier. I don't think anything's beating Armor right now. You play him on 2, he's 2-2, not good stat line, but on turn 5 you get to see what your opponent plays. So they like play their turn, they lock it in, and now you can see what they're doing, and then you play your turn. This gives you so much info if you want to like snap, if you want to like know how their like play lines are going, if you want to retreat. It's so much info. It's so good. Darkhawk, I think Darkhawk's fallen off a bit, but I still think he's an A tier card. I still think he's nuts. I don't think enough people are playing him, which I'm kind of happy. When this card is played, it's so obnoxious. But I still think Darkhawk is good, so I'll put him in A. Dazzler, I think F tier. She might be D tier, but I'm gonna leave her in F tier. I don't think Dazzler is any good. She gets bonus power if a lane is filled up, but you kind of like Decks that can fill up the lane don't want to play a Dazzler. They have no room to like slot her in, which makes it so hard to actually get the condition off. Okay, we're gonna speedrun some. Deadpool, Death, and Deathlock, all A tier cards. Death, one of the main reasons you want to play a destroy archetype, you keep destroying like your shitter cards, and then the cost of death goes lower and lower and lower and lower until you're able to play it for nothing. Deathlock 3/5, not the best stat line, but destroys everything in the lane. Just another good way to like get destroy effects off. Deadpool, a card that just loves to constantly get destroyed. He'll double his power. Starts as 1, goes to 2, goes to 4, goes to 8. Can ramp like crazy. Each time he like gets higher and higher and higher, he ups the power of Null and Venom if Venom ever eats Deadpool. Great card for the archetype. Debris, I'll put her in C tier. I really don't think Debris is good. I think she's falling out of meta like quite fast. The deck you want to play her in, she's just like, even like she gets cut in the deck she wants to be playing in. That's just like, she's okay, but it's just like, why would you play here when you have like other play lines you could play? Like playing a Green Goblin is so much better on 3 than playing a Debris on 3. Destroyer, I think Destroyer archetype is okay, but it's not like amazing. So I'll put him in C tier. You have to kind of play like a very specific game plan to protect your own guys, maybe protect them with armor. Play Destroyer on top of a Cosmo, so his effect doesn't go off. You'd play down to 615. But other than that, he's just really hard to actually get to work. Devil Dinosaur, easy A tier card. Devil Loki, I still think is good. People aren't playing it enough. I think the deck is amazing. This card gets played in Miss Negative decks as well. Just an amazing card. Either as a support or just like, even Thanos decks are playing this card. Like, it's just nuts. Doc Ock, I put him in B tier. He's like one of the only cards that does what he does. He pulls cards from your opponent's hand and forces them to play it into a lane, forcing the lane to be filled up. So if they have a bunch of like bad cards in hand, you can pull them out and then he can just solo the lane. Other times you can pull out like tech cards like Armor, like Shang-Chi, like Enchantress, and he'll just like take the hit. And other times he'll pull out like combo pieces that they need for like certain play lines, and now they just can't do it because you play a Doc Ock. But sometimes he just gets Shang-Chi'd and he just dies for free, and also like you'll play him, then you'll just make them win the lane and there's nothing you can do about it, so you just give them the win. So he's a high roll card, but like, so I'll put him in B for that. Doctor Strange, another amazing move card. Moves the highest power card on your side of the board to wherever Doctor Strange is. You're great for cards like Vulture, good for like Spider-Man 2099. Just a lot of good move targets that he could hit. Domino, I'll put him in F tier. I'm not sure why you would even want to play Domino. You always draw her on turn 2, but it basically ruins like the odds of you drawing your other cards. So you just have like a worse card draw in general. I wish like the value of each draw goes down because by turn 2 you're always going to draw this card. So I'm putting an F tier. I think she actively hits most decks. It's kind of funny to play like Lamau, like Domino on turn 2. It's just like, but I don't know, man. It's not that good. Dracula, I'm gonna put in B tier. I feel like Dracula is sleeper in the Apocalypse deck now. He used to be like the main thing. You play Dracula into MODOK, into Apocalypse, into American Chavez, and then fill the board with swarms on the final turn. But like, it's just a lot harder to get that like dream to happen. So I think the card is sleeper, and I think Discard wants to like move from like a combo like centric plan to more like a disruptive discard plan. So I put him in B tier. I think he's kind of sleeping now. Might even be C tier. Draxus, I think he's bad. I'm gonna put him in F tier. Yeah, he's a 4/5. I think he becomes a 4/8. He might become a 4/9. I'm not sure. You have to play him in a location your opponent plays cards. It's not super difficult, but it's just kind of annoying. And at turn 4, you want more like really synergy focused cards than just like one single power stat card. Next up, Doctor Doom. I'll put him in A tier. It's A or S. Doctor Doom just like it's just Doctor Doom. He's 6/5, puts 2/5 bots on the board, so he's actually 6/15. If you play Odin and ramp him out early, there's another +5 to each lane. His Doctor Doom bots can go into lanes that are closed off, like they've been stormed or like whatever. I think the only lane that they can't get into is Professor X's lane. Otherwise, he can just get in there anyway. He's a nuts card, really good. If you just play him on turn 6, you can win a lot of games off that. So next up we have Ebony Maw. I'm gonna put Ebony Maw in B tier. I think it's a solid card. 1/7 is a good stat line. he does lock you up from playing cards in that lane, so you want to play him on turn 3. But like, even if you don't, if you just play him in a lane and pass and just never play a card in there ever again, he still can sometimes win if you play something like Living Tribunal. As a 1/7, it's just so much power for Tribunal to like move about, and you can still put power into his lane anyway. So he's a decent card. You have to play him in like a Living Tribunal deck specifically, but he's decent. Electro, 8-tier card, one of the best ramp cards in the game. You play him on 3, you play 5 cost on turn 5, you play Doctor Doom on turn 6, play Odin on turn... Doctor Doom on turn 5, then Odin on turn 6 because you ramped up. There's tons of other insane combos you can do. Electro just enables them all. He's an amazing card. Electra, F-tier card. This card is so bad. The only reason you'd play this is like a Sunspot or a Nebula, but if they're not playing a Sunspot or a Nebula, you're now running a 1/1 Electra. Like, why would you want to do that? Play a 1/1 in your deck. It's so bad. Enchantress, another 8-tier card. She's 4/4. I think she might be 4/6 now. I might be wrong about that. She turns off ongoing effects if ongoing is in the meta, which there are a couple of ongoings, but it's not tons of it. So you could... I'm actually going to put her in B tier because right now in the meta, there's not a lot of ongoing going on. But like, depending on how much ongoing is going on in like the meta, depends on how good she is, because she's the one dedicated counter to deny ongoing effects. Falcon, I think Falcon C tier. I think Beast is a B tier card. I think Falcon plays in the same decks as him, but he's just a worse, like, just a worse turn. Forge, I think Forge is B tier. He's in a lot of high tier decks like Move and Destroy, but I don't think it's super necessary. If you don't play Forge when you're playing this deck, you're not like, oh man, it's gonna be so tough because I didn't get Forge. But like, if you hit Forge, like, nice, I can wrap my Deadpool faster. I can wrap my my move cards faster. But otherwise, I think solid B tier. Galactus, another B tier. He's a 6/5 now, not 6/2. Solid card. If you're playing with the goblins, he's quite good, but other than that, it's kind of hard to get him to work. You can play a ramp type deck. Just play ramp with the goblins is really good. Try and get Galactus out, but yeah, otherwise I'd just keep him in B tier. Next up, Gambit. I think it's a C tier card. I think it's okay. Sometimes you win or lose games off Gambit. If you snipe the biggest, strongest card, you win. If you hit one of their 1-drops, you lose. He's a 3/1. He discards a card in your hand. So if you have a slot in your discard list, you can put him in, but normally they're just better things to play over him. But like, he does do what he does. Glamour, I think she's the best out of all of the play we opponent played cards. Just because you play her in turn 5, so it's really easy to predict at this point, like what your opponent's gonna do and what their game plan is. You can easily predict where it's gonna be, and she'll become a 5/13, which is just good stat line. Ghost, I actually think is a B to an A tier card. I'm gonna put her in B, but she might be an A tier card. New Ghost costs 3 and she has 5 power. She's just really good in Sarah control decks. Just like, it's kind of the only place you want to play her, in a Sarah control deck. But in that deck, she's insane. Ghost Rider, also C tier. You only really see him in Hela decks. You never really see him without Hela. And even in Hela decks, you kind of can cut Ghost Rider, but not really. But you kind of can. So for that reason, I'll put him in C because he's not like super amazing. Gigago, I'm putting Gigago in A tier. Gigago is amazing. 6/14. You don't ever really want to play him just like out, but you can. If you ramp into him, you can play him down on turn 5, and then play Living Tribunal on turn 7. Not on turn 7, on turn 6. Or play Taskmaster to copy his 6/14 and play his power down anywhere you want. Also good in discard decks where you want to discard then resummon him with Hela. Also good if you hit him with Dracula. He's just like, weirdly, he's best if you don't play him, but like, he's amazing though. So put him in A. Goose, I think it's a B tier card. I don't see a lot of people playing Goose. He just like Cosmo, he denies you from playing in that lane as well. So unless you're playing like specifically a really small like deck, like you're just playing 1-drops and 2-drops basically, 1-drops, 2-drops, 3-drops, you can't, like, Goose is gonna mess you up as well. For that, I'll put him in B tier because I think those decks aren't really good. I think Green Goblin, easy A tier. He's a 3 cost, sends 3 power over. The main power of this card is he denies slots on your opponent's side of the lane. Instead of taking up your side, he takes up their side. And that can just like win you lanes. Because they could put like 2 small cards in a lane, 1 Green Goblin over there. And now they only have 1 slot left to try and fight for the whole lane. So it's quite good. Groot F tier card. It's like that, like Drax again. Just like decent stats, I guess, if you land it. But it's hard to land it. You have better things to do in turn 3. Hawkeye. I put him in C tier. He's actually decent now, but only good in bounce. But again, bounce isn't really good, and sometimes they don't even want to play him. So yep. Hazma D tier card. She needs a buff. I don't know what needs to happen to her, but like, she's just not in good. She's not. I'm like, Luke Cage is out the meta basically. So this should be her time to shine, and she's still not really shining. So I'll put her in D tier. Heimdall. I think a C tier card. I think a move deck works just fine without Heimdall. And that's saying something. Like, if like the finisher of a move deck isn't even that impactful, sometimes you just don't even want to play the cards. No, you do play him like half the time, so I'll put him in B tier. But I don't think he's like as amazing as he should be for like a move deck. But maybe it'd be insane if move had like a top tier like 6 cost finisher. So yeah, Hela, easy A tier. Some of the best decks right now is Hela. They're kind of brain dead as well. You just discard your hand, play Hela, boom, full board. A lot of different ways to play here. Ramp it with Electro, ramp it with Corvus Glaive. Play cards like Invisible Woman to help protect it. So you play Invisible Woman, MODOK, Hela, easy win the game. Great card. Helicarrier, C tier card. Some discard archetypes are playing Helicarrier. I feel like they're throwing when they play it. This card, like, the downside of the card is that, like, it fills your hand, which means you get -1 card draw. If it filled every slot but the last one, this card would be good, but until then, it's, like, C tier, and you're kind of throwing when you play the card, but not enough really to put it into D tier. Next up, Hellcow. Solid B tier card. It's not targeted discard. It's a 4/8 now, not a 4/6, which is a good stat line. But it also discards 2 cards from your hand, so it's just good for getting cards out of your hand. It's one of the 3 cards that can discard more than 1 card. So for that reason, I think I put in B, because it's one of the best ways to like get cards out. Hobgoblin. A tier card, same reason as Goblin. Just disrupts like minus power on this side of the board. It's good for you, but also takes a slot off the reward. Amazing. Also great with Galactus, your Green Goblin, Hobgoblin, Galactus. That's minus what's that? -11 power plus your 5 power off this. Like, you probably solo that lane. The HUD, I think a B tier card. He's okay. 1/3. If you play a Nihilist, you can send him over. So he basically acts as another Green Goblin or Hobgoblin. And then gives you the Demon, which is a 1/6, which is amazing. But you don't really like have to play the card. Like, most decks that play him don't like need to play him. They just like, it's kind of happy to play the guy. So I'll leave him in B. Hulk, definition of a C tier card. He's good. 6/12. Nothing special. Nothing. No. He's a B tier card because of high Evo buffs the card. High Evo Hulk is actually really good. Normal Hulk, C tier card. But even in high Evo decks, I think is an A tier deck, you'd rather play Infinite on She-Hulk than She-Hulk Hulk. It's just, so I'll put him in B. He's a good second plan, but like primary plan, he doesn't make it, so I'll leave him in B. Hulk Buster, I think in B as well. Supports cards like Deadpool, cards like the Brood, any card really, because he can latch onto anything. He also helps cards like Human Torch. Just, if you need to buff up a card while it's on the board, this guy's the guy to do it for you. Human Torch, yapping about this guy. He is an A tier card. Even though he's A tier, I don't think you should go full on in on like Human Torch if you're playing move. You should only want to move him a couple of times. Unlike Deadpool, you kind of want to discard him or destroy him, sorry, like a bunch of times. Keep destroying the guy. Because Human Torch, he's all built up power on himself. He just ups his own power. Versus Deadpool, the more times you destroy him, the stronger your null will be. And you can use Venom to like capture some of the power of Deadpool. So you basically have like 3 Deadpools. Where Human Torch in his deck is like he's the only Human Torch, if that makes sense. So he's an A tier. Even though I think he's not like insane, he is still A tier. Iceman's up next. I think he's also another A tier. I feel like Iceman just solos games. He might even be an S tier card. You don't even know when Iceman has just like soloed the game because you can't see what it hits. If it hits the perfect card, sometimes the right play for your opponent to do is just concede on the spot. He's just that strong. Next up, I think the Infinite is another A tier card. He's great in Hella decks. You want to discard him, play him out. He's good in She-Not decks. He's good in High Evo decks. He's just a great card. Play him out, huge stats. Discard him, cheat him out, huge stats. Play him with Just play him in so many different decks. The guy's great. Play him with blob decks, eat him, gain his power that way. Amazing card. Invisible Woman, I think she's a B tier card. She's already really good in Hella decks. She's really good with specifically Hella MODOK. But I think Hella MODOK is now the old Hella deck, and the new Hella deck is Ramp Hella with Corvus Glaive. So I think she's decent, but there's just better ways to play Hella instead of playing it with her. Iron Fist, easy A tier card. 1 cost, 2 power, move the next card. The next card you play moves 1 to the left. He's like one of the cheapest ways to get a move effect to activate. So great to go Iron Fist into Human Torch, like automatic just combo. Iron Heart. I think it's a D tier card. This might be a C tier card. I really don't like it. You only really see it get played in Mr. Negative decks, but I don't even like playing in my Mr. Negative decks. So I'm gonna leave her in D. Iron Man. A or B tier card. I'm putting him in B tier. Not many decks want to play Iron Man, but like if the deck can work, no, he's A tier. No, is he? I'm gonna believe in B tier. In Mr. Negative decks, if he turns to a 0/5 with the ongoing ability, double the power of the location, basically being a 0/10 with upside. But other than that, it's really hard to play Iron Man out. Like, he's just not that good. Jane Foster, I think another B tier card. Draws all of your 0 cost cards. If you play cards like Wasp, if you like miss negative your deck and then play Jane Foster, she'll find the Iron Man. She's a decent card, especially if you play cards like Thor and like the new Thor type card. Great for decks like that. Great with Lockjaw, and I think Lockjaw is quite decent right now. Jessica Jones, F tier card. I used to love playing this card. She needs a buff or a rework or something. She's just really not good in her current state. Jubilee, easy A tier card. Can basically, another way to cheat out like these larger cards is huge power cheat basically. Also it draws the card because it plays it instantly, which is also like, she like basically draws and mana cheats all in one card. She does only have 1 power, and it is random what you get. So you have to be careful what you put in your deck. Like, you can't play Destroyer with Jubilee because you'll just destroy everything. But it's not that hard of a like, requirement to play around, so easy A tier. Juggernaut, I think solid B tier. He does what he does well. You storm a lane, you play Juggernaut in the lane. If they didn't play anything when you played your storm, you basically win the lane off it. Just decent card. Kang, I think Kang is an A tier card. I think people sleep on him. Out of all of the big bads, there's 4 of them. He's considered the worst, but I still think he's an easy A tier. I actually think he's better than Galactus, as you can see. So yeah, I think Kang is A tier. Kazar, I think Kazar is C tier. I think his archetype is okay, and he is the best in his archetype, just because he buffs up all the 1-drops. But I just don't think his archetype is that good, so I'll just leave him in C. Killmonger, I don't think 1-drops are super like oppressive like they used to be at the start of Marvel Snap, so I think he's dropped down a lot. He used to be like an A tier, arguably S tier, but I think he's in B tier now, just kills all the 1-drops. Kingpin, I think he's bad now. They've changed him so he just minus his power instead of just destroying cards that enter his location. So I don't know. It's just to make move better, I guess. But Kingpin just feels terrible. Kitty Pryde, I think he's a B tier card. Still good, I think. You have to play alongside Angela. But like with Angela, she's okay. You can make it work. Claw, I think another B tier card. He is called the king of 8 cubes. He just wins 8 cubes. If you're playing a deck and you have a free slot and you don't know what to put in, you can put in a Claw and then just get free 8 cubes sometimes because no one ever sees it coming. That's the only upside to this guy. Like, everything else kind of sucks about him. Power to power. Even the fact that he pits power into the location in the right lane, it's kind of annoying because sometimes you don't even want to put power into that location. Next up, Null. Easy A tier card. One of the main reasons you want to play a Destroy deck, as you can see with all these Destroy cards being A tier, I think Destroy is one of the better archetypes right now. And Null is the final finisher of the deck. You play 1 turn 6, he has like 30 power because you've destroyed so many different Deadpools, so many different like everything. Maybe you've even destroyed Death with your Venom. So Null can just get to huge numbers. Next up we have Korg. I think Korg is decent. I think he's kind of fell off a bit, so I put him in C tier. He's still good in Dark Oak decks. I just put him in B tier. So I think Dark Hook is good, and Dark Hook does like plain Korg. Craven, I think Craven is also a B tier card. Again, I think Move is good. I think Craven is kind of sleeper in the deck. He's not that good. He's not like terrible. Like you play the card, but you play him because he's like, what else are you gonna do on 2 other than play Cloak? But sometimes you don't even want to play Cloak on turn 2, so you play Craven instead. Lady Sith, I think is an A tier card. Targeted discard, amazing. Guaranteed hits your Apocalypse if you have no other expensive cards in your deck. Can hit your like larger cards if you're playing a Hela deck to help hit Gigago. Help hit, where is he? The Inferno, I don't know where he is right now. Oh, here he is. Just a solid card. Targeted draw, 3-4, not the best stat line, but targeted discard is amazing. Leader. I think Leader is good, but I don't think he's crazy right now. I'm gonna put him in B tier. He's a 6-2 right now. He'll copy the highest cost card your opponent plays. But Alioth is about in the game, and Alioth is just better leader, kind of. So I'll leave him in B tier, but Alioth is still about. Leech, I think Leech is another A tier card. He's 5-3, turns off your opponent's hand. You have to play him on 5, but then disables all the cards in your opponent's hand. You can play Leech, and he can just solo sometimes. Sometimes, like, you play your Leech, he hits the Hela is dead. You play Leech, he hits the Null is dead. You play Leech, he hits anything, everything is dead. Like, Leech just can just solo things. Lizard, I think this is kind of bad now. I think he's a 2-5, which is, like, really good stat cost. But if you fill up the lane, he goes down to a 1 power. It's not too hard to fill up a lane. It's not too hard as well to, like, dodge, like, them filling up the lane. But a 2-5 just isn't crazy. So I'll leave him in C tier. I think this is better cards to play. Lockjaw, specifically in a oh, what's his name? Thanos deck. I think he's an A tier card. I think Thanos is quite good right now. Lockjaw have a lot of like Thanos gives you a lot of Infinity Stones, which are 1-cost cards. You play him next to Lockjaw, he keeps cycling it. Thanos also has the blue Infinity Stone. I can't remember the name of it right now. You play it, and then you can move your Lockjaw into another lane, basically giving you like 2 Lockjaw effects. Or not effects, but like 2 Lockjaws basically, because Lockjaw's only like forced into 1 lane. Now you can play him into multiple lanes. He's a great card. Next up, Luke Cage. I think he's an F tier card. I feel like, I don't know why you would want to play Luke Cage now. He only protects 1 lane instead of your whole board. So he's not just to like plug him in and now you'll never have to deal with like affliction cards again. It's you have to play him in and now you have to predict where they're going to afflict. But they can just not afflict the lane that he's in, and he's like, what did he even do? He accomplished nothing. Next up, Magic. Magic is an A tier card as well. She might even be an S tier card. I don't think so. I think her effect is like game changing. She adds turn 7, but not all decks want to go to turn 7, so it's weird to make her an S tier card. I'll leave an A tier. Adding turn 7 is crazy. Lets you like get an extra card draw plus extra 7 mana a turn or a game, sorry, and that's just like insane amount of value. Magneto, I think he's decent. I don't think he's crazy. I put him in B tier. I think he is a bit better than Hulk. Not high evo Hulk, just normal Hulk. But sometimes his movement effect can mess you up. Like sometimes you don't want to move cards and you just can't really control that, so you just fuck yourself over. So I'll leave him in B tier, but could be C tier. Mantis, I think it's a D. No, C tier card. No, is it D? I think it's okay. She costs 2 now. She has more power. You still have to predict where they're playing, which is really annoying, especially early on, because it's hard to predict early. And they are just better cards. No, Agent 13 is just so much better than this card. I think this card's D tier. Maria Hill, I think this card is C tier. Again, just better cards than her. But she's a decent card, nothing to be like slept on. 2/3 solid power line, but yeah, this is better cards at 2 costs that can like add a card to your hand. Master Mold, I think it's a B tier. Next up we have Maximus. Solid card. I think Maximus is an A tier card. He's a 2/6 now. I think he's really good in Sarah decks. He's really good in like different control decks for like just high power for such a low cost. Giving your opponent cards is kind of annoying. Like it's a very big downside. But like in the decks you play him, it's not that bad. So I'll play him in A. Yep. Mabu. M'Baku, easy F. I think Medusa is also F. She's a 2-2 player in the middle lane. She's an ongoing effect, where she gets +3 power. She's a 2-5. 2-5 isn't bad, but you force to play her in the middle lane. She's not F. I'll put her in D. But I think just better cards to play than her. Spider-Man Miles Morales. Solid card. I'll put him in C tier. I actually don't think he's that good in move decks. I like playing him a lot. He's a 1-5 basically if you move a card. But no, I think he's in B. I think 1-5 is just a really good stat line. It's quite easy for the effect to happen. It's hard to weave in that extra 1. Normally, like, with move decks, you don't have any extra, like, energy left. So it's really hard to actually weave in the 1. But if you can, it's 1-5 is decent. Misty Knight, I think a solid B tier, maybe even A tier card. Nah, solid B tier card. Only really good in high Evo decks. You can play in Patriot, but I don't think Patriot's that good. She's a 1-2 if you have any excess power, gain +1 to a card on your side of the board. She's good to play along with Electro. Normally high Evo decks want to leak like a few extra energy points. This is a way to get like value out of leaking that energy point, so it's not really a leak. MODOK, easy A tier card. He makes so many different discard deck types work. He's the only card in the game that can full discard your whole hand. He's one of the 3 cards that can discard more than 1 card in the hand. He's amazing in both Hela and Apocalypse. Less Hela nowadays, but like if you're playing Invisible Woman Hela, you want to play MODOK. Mojo? I don't really like Mojo. I feel like forcing your opponent to fill the lane, like you want to play Mojo into where they've already filled the lane and now you fill the lane and now you win. But I feel like there's better cards to play than like hope for that game plan to go down. They're just playing a card that you don't need to fill the lane, or they don't need to fill the lane, and you can still win. Like I feel like playing any card like that is just better than playing Mojo. But like with Mojo, it works. You can get it to work. It's a C tier card. It's decent. Moon Girl. I think she's B tier. She's fallen out of the Devil Dino meta. Like Devil Dino doesn't even really want to play her anymore. It's mainly where you wanted to play her. There's some discard decks playing her now. There still are Devil Dino decks playing her, and some other weird niche decks also that play her. She's pretty decent in those decks. It's just like, there's just better cards than her, but even though they're better cards than her, playing her isn't like a throw. She's still good. Moon Knight. Moon Knight, you should think is like a D to a C tier card. In current meta, I think it's actually a B tier card. There's so many good things you want to like discard from your hand, and taking cards out of your opponent's hand is always good. Really frustrating as well to like play against. But sometimes he can just solo games as well. He can just like kill their Galactus, get rid of their Annihilus, get rid of their Null, get rid of their anything, and they just fucked up. They just fucked. Morbius. Oh. Another A tier card. I think Morbius is great. He's one of the main reasons you want to play like a discard deck that isn't Hela. This card is 2-0, but he can become a 2-8 quite easy, a 2-10 and 2-12. Especially with MODOK being able to discard a bunch of cards. You play Sith, you play Carleen Wing, you play Swarm. It's a great combo. Morph? D tier card. I think there's better cards than Morph. It becomes a random card in your opponent's hand. It's just RNG what you get. Sometimes he's amazing, sometimes he's not. I feel the majority of the time he's not amazing. So I'm going to leave him at D. If he was 2 cost, this card might be a B to a C. But at 3, it's kind of like quite expensive, hard to weave in. So I'll leave him at D. Mr. Fantastic. I'm not a really big Mr. Fantastic fan. Where would I put him though? He's a 3-2, but he puts 2 power into 2 other lanes, which is actually a 3-6. Which is decent, but there's just better things to do. You can put power into other lanes that you may or may not be able to put power into. Like if a lane swarmed off, you might not be able to put power into there. Mr. Fantastic can get power into there, but there's so many better cards. Play cards like Jeff, play cards like Dr. Doom, they just do the same thing but way better. But if you don't have those cards, you can play the card, but that's the only reason I could think that like you would want to play a Mr. Fantastic. Next up, Mr. Negative. I think Mr. Negative is quite good, not crazy right now. I'll put him in B tier. Reverses the cost and power of all the cards in your deck. So if you're playing something like Iron Man, he costs 5 power, he costs 5 energy, he has 0 power, he now costs 0 power. 0 energy, and he now has 5 power. Sorry, that's hard to say. He's quite good. You play him on turn 3 if you like ramp him out using cards like Zabu, who else is there? Psylocke, cards like that can ramp him out one turn sooner to get like more cards to draw. We have the mission negative effect. The sooner you play him, the better you play him, or the better he is. He's decent. I don't think he's crazy good, but he's decent. Mr. Sinister, I think a C tier. No, I put him in B tier. I feel like the decks he's playing in, mainly Patriot decks, aren't really all that good right now. I actually think I'll put him in C tier. I don't think Mr. Sinister is that good of a deck right now, so I'll leave him in C. Multiple Man. This guy kind of sucks. I'll still put him in B tier, even though I don't think he's all that amazing. He's a good card you want to move, but like there's still better move targets. He usually clogs up your side of the board. Like you get so many multiple men. So if you can play him and then buff him up with Hulkbuster, great combo. But if you can't do that, it's quite annoying to like just keep having 3 power and locking up all of your slots. Mysterio, oh, he's been around for a long time. I'll put him in D. He used to see him a lot with Hitmonkey decks, but Hitmonkey decks don't really get played anymore. And without the Hitmonkey deck, him putting a bunch of bodies everywhere is super annoying because he also just fills up your side of the board. It just denies you from being able to play your own cards down. Mystique, I think it's a solid B tier card. There are a lot of good like ongoing effects you could copy, like Iron Man or Miss Marvel. But other than that, like on her own, obviously she doesn't do anything on her own. You need to play with something, play with like a Wong or something. But like in those decks, she's kind of goes crazy. But she's like a pure support card. So I'll just leave her in B. Nakia? Nakia buffs the cards in your hand. It's not that good. It's not terrible. Like, you can play Nakia, Black Panther. I might play that. So I'll leave it there. I'm going to do Akia right now. I think Akia is the better of the two. Where did she go? Oh, here she is. I think I'll put her in B. Nakia puts 2 power. Akia puts 1 power, but all the cards in your deck. Yep. Neymar, I think it's F tier. He doesn't have enough power to solo the lane, and he wants to solo a lane, but he just can't solo the lane. That's not how he works. Megasonic or Negasonic, Teenage Warhead. Terrible name. This is the dumbest name I've ever heard. I think it's a C to a B tier card. Now it's if your opponent plays a card there, destroy that card and this card, I think. Instead of like, so you can still build up the lane. You can just play here. Now, if they can't play a card here, they have to play a card to sack into it, which can be quite good if they just can't sack. Like, if you know the final turns are just large cards, they can't, like, deal with a Negasonic. So I'll leave him in B. Nick Fury, C tier card. He's good in, like, Devil Dino decks. That's basically it. He's not even that amazing. Like, you'd rather play any other card. Any of you, like, you'd rather play Maria Hill, or either play, where is he? Agent Coulson. Nick Fury isn't really him, but like, he's still not terrible. You can just play him. Nightcrawler. I think a D tier card. He used to be amazing. If you can pull 1, he's probably an S tier card. But in pool 3, 4, 5, like the card just doesn't do enough. He's a 1/2, can move into any location. For 1 more cost, you can play Jeff. You can go into any location, even if the location is like locked off. I don't know, it just feels not the best. He just feels not the best. Nimrod. I want to play a Nimrod deck. I think they look decent. Playing Nimrod Galactus could go crazy. You could just play Nimrod Destroy, could also go crazy. I'll leave him in B tier, but I don't think he's that amazing. He may even be C tier. I think he's C tier. He's just not that good. His deck archetype is not that good, but like him himself is just cool as fuck. Play Hulkbuster, Nimrod. Play Destroyer on top of that. Play like Venom on top of that. Amazing combo. But other than that, it kind of sucks. Nova, decent card. Put him, if you don't play him in the deck, you're not salty about it. If you play him in the deck and you don't see him, you're still not upset about it. It is what it is. You see him, you play it. It's nice, but not amazing. Odin. Back to the A tier cards. Amazing card. Enables the whole on reveal archetype. Great for ramp decks. Like I said, like Ramp, Doctor Doom, Odin is one of the best combos in the game. And him being half of the best combo in the game means he has to be in the game. Has to be in the A tier. Next up, Omega Red. He got a rework. I still don't think he's that good, so I'm going to put him in C. But I really don't know enough about this card to think if he's any good or not. So I'll leave him in C because no one's playing him. He still might just be a D card. But he used to be F, so I'll leave him in C for now. Next up, Onslaught. I think Onslaught is not that good, but I don't think he's terrible, so I'll leave him in B tier. Great in ongoing decks, great in like one-turn win decks where you play this Iron Man, play different Tribunal on top. It's decent. Other than that, you don't really see a lot of him. Orca, D tier card. He can solo lanes, but he often does not, but he can, so leave him in D tier. Patriot, I don't think the Patriot deck is that good. I'll put it in B tier, but it might even be a C tier deck. But he's like the key part of a Patriot deck, you know, him being Patriot. Polaris used to be amazing. I think she's only okay now. She moves cards. She's like a mini Magneto. I don't think she's amazing though. 3/5 is decent stat line. Professor X, B tier card. She's a 3/1 now. It's kind of harder to win lanes just off him. Playing him with what is it? Daredevil. I can't find him, but he's somewhere. Here he is, Daredevil. Still an amazing combo. Still can do solo lanes. Yeah, so I put him in B for that, but he's not like as amazing as he used to be. Psylocke, C tier card. They're just better cards than him now. That's all it is, basically. Punisher, still bad. Still does it. No, he's D tier. He's worse than Captain America. Is he? Yeah, he's worse than Captain America. I'll put him in F tier. Quake, put it in D tier. She shifts the locations around. It's kind of like, it's not really much reason you would want to do that, but she is the only character that can do that. So I'll put her in D for that, but there's no real reason you would want to do it. Quicksilver, just like Domino, instead of turn 2, you guarantee draw the card. You draw the card guaranteed on turn 1 instead. He kind of makes all of your draws, like, from then onwards worse, because you have to, like, give up 2 of your draws. But, yeah. Quinjet, easy A tier, great in the Loki deck, great in Devil Dino deck, great in any deck where you just generate any type of cards. Quinjet is, like, your number one drop to play. Red Skull, decent card. It's kind of fallen out the meta a bit, but 5 cost, 15 power. Oh, he might be an S tier. 5 cost, 15 power is just so valued. Red Shuri isn't really played anymore. That deck used to be so oppressive when it was. Rescue. I'm gonna say Rescue's a C tier card. I might be hating on Rescue for that, but I don't think she's that good. You play it down next turn. You play a card in this location, she gets plus 5 powers, which is a 4/9. But you have to play into her location. I feel like she's just not that good, so I'll leave her in C tier. Rhino. I'll put him in C tier. There's so many cards better than Rhino. Rhino just destroys the location, so if you have a bad location, play Rhino, problem solved. He costs 3, which is quite annoying, but he does destroy the location, gets rid of it completely. No more RNG, just gone. Rocket Raccoon, C tier. The reason I picked Rocket Raccoon higher than Groot and Draxus, even though he's the same ability for cheaper, which is why I don't like them, because if you play it on turn 1, it's bad. But because he's so cheap, you can play him on turn 6 with a 5-drop. And you'll be able to predict where they are. You just get it for 1/4 for free. Like 1/4 is just good styling. Rock Slide, easy B tier. I feel like no, he's gonna be an A tier. Darkhawk's A tier, Rock Slide's A tier. Like it is what it is. It enables Darkhawk, puts bad draws into the deck. If they draw a rock, they're actually so sad. It's like it fucks them up so bad. Their win percentage just goes so down if they hit the rock. Rogue, decent card, better cards. I think you just play Enchantress over her. She's basically a 1-mana cheaper Enchantress. But the one downside is Enchantress hits everything. Rogue only hits one thing on their side. So it can be an upside because it won't hit your cards. But that's the reason you play Enchantress over Rogue. Oh, sorry, you play Rogue over Enchantress, but I think that's worse overall. Ronin, I actually think Ronin is kind of fun. I'll put him in B tier. Might make a deck with him soon. So the power of Ronin. I think he slept on quite a bit. It is kind of annoying. Like if they play a 1-drop deck, like they can just you give them a bunch of cards in their hand, they just flood all the cards out. But I think he's still decent. Sabretooth. I think he's decent as well. He's not really played in destroy decks anymore. Some of them still do. A lot of them don't. You can just keep destroying the card. He comes back as a 0/4. Place him wherever you want. Destroy him again. Helps build up the null. Helps lower the cost of death. And then at the end of your turn, you get a bit of full power wherever you want on the board. Quite decent. Sandman. It's sad to say, I think Sandman's A tier. Sandman's one of the most annoyingest cards in the game. It stops you and your opponent from both playing more than one card a turn. So if your opponent is playing a deck where they want to play down a swarm of cards on turn 6, this is the card that stops them. And it's quite annoying if like they're playing a deck like that and you're not. If you're playing a ramp deck, you play him, you play Electro, play him on 4, play Doctor Doom on 5, play Odin on 6. There's probably nothing your opponent can do to beat that. Sauron, I think he's really fun in the Shuri deck. He's quite decent. Put him in B tier. I don't think Shuri is really good right now, like Shuri Red Skull, but he does help. I did put. No, I think I will put him in B tier. You can play Red Skull in like in a blob deck. You can play Red Skull with Lockjaw. You can play Red Skull in a lot of different decks. Shuri, I think it's just a solid B tier. Scarlet Witch, I think is a B tier card. Her main benefit is that she changes the location. She changes it to a new location, so you can still like swap it, but then still mess yourself up anyway. But she is cheap with 2/3, same stat line as the Rhino, but for 1 cheaper, but for like more RNG in it. But I do think she's better because she's cheaper. Next up, Scorpion. I think Scorpion is a B tier card. You could say the card is A tier, because it's a 2/2, but then it like if you play him on 2, the odds are they have 4 cards in hand, and if all 4 of those cards get hit with -1 power, then the opponent plays all of those cards. He's basically a 2/6, and 2/6 is a great stat line. But how often does that happen? Not very often. But sometimes they won't play the card specifically because you hit it, and then if that happens, he basically Iceman that card. So he's kind of insane, but like not many decks want to play him, and other decks have better things to do than just play a Scorpion. So I'll leave him in B tier. Sentinel, C tier card. So many better cards than Sentinel now. I used to think Sentinel was amazing. I still kind of do think he's amazing, but like he's just decent. It's just so much better to do than him. Sentry. I always call Sentry Sentinel. I don't know why I do that, but I think Drunk is quite a good deck right now. Sentinel is quite good. You play Sentinel down on turn 4. You play Annihilus down on turn 5. And you play something like a Hobgoblin plus any 1-drop on turn 6, which is a really good power play. You move over the 10 cost. That he is a 4/10, not a 4/8. And he summons a minus 10/10 Void that you can give to your opponent with Annihilus. So it's quite good. Alright, next up we have Sarah. Sarah's not doing like the best as she used to be. But even saying that, like she's being like worse than she used to be, she's still A tier. Sarah's still like an amazing deck archetype. Still an amazing card. Easy A. Shadow King. I think Shadow King's B. He's quite decent. He's a 2/2 now. Still reverses the effects of any buffs cards have had. So you can solo any destroy archetype like Deadpool or Venom. There's a lot of other good targets as well. Like Shadow King can hit, but like solid B. Shang-Chi, finally a card. Oh, hold up. Finally a card that beats S tier. Shang-Chi I think is one of the best cards in the game. Might even be better than Armor. It just solos so many large, strong cards. Deletes, like you play Shang-Chi for 4, destroys you, like only has 3 power. Okay, doesn't add a lot to the lane, but he can destroy a 10 power card at least. So he's really a 4/13 if you think about it. And a 4/13 is a crazy stat line. Shanna? I put Shanna in D tier. She adds 1-drops to every other location. Maybe that's good. I feel like it's not. It clogs up the location. It's RNG what the 1-drops are going to be. On average, I think like cost for power is good on the card. But you play in a Kazar deck, and Kazar isn't that good, and Kazar doesn't. I don't think Kazar wants to play Ashana, so I'll leave it in D tier. She-Hulk, easy A tier. 6/10, bad stat line. If you pass on turn 5, she's now a 1/10. Great stat line. Shocker. I put Shocker in C tier. He's okay in a Patriot deck. He's okay in a High Evo deck. Nothing special, nothing crazy. Solid card. Shuri. I put Shuri in B tier. I don't think Shuri goes like crazy anymore, but like it can still like put up some power, still put up some numbers, still do some damage. Card's decent. Silver Surfer. I don't think Silver Surfer decks are good right now, so I'm going to leave it in C tier. He is like the peak of the Silver Surfer. Obviously, he is Silver Surfer. You play him, you play these other cards, but I don't think the other cards are strong. Like, Brute is up so high. I think Brute should come down. Yep. I don't think the Silver Surfer archetype is that good, so I'm going to leave him in C tier. Spectra. She's +2. She needs to beat +12, so she needs, what, 3, 4? You have to have 4 ongoing cards to make her decent. I guess if you play 4 ongoing cards and then you play Spectra, she's good, or she's okay. But that's so much work to play here. I think she's D tier. It's way too much work for, like, what the effect is. Even though the effect is okay once you get it. Spider-Man, he's been nerfed a lot. I'll leave him in C tier. He still, like, pulls a card from your opponent's lane into a different lane, which can, like, mess up the combo. So he's still okay, but he's not, like, he's not as amazing as he used to be. Spider-Woman, D tier as well. I think the card is decent, but there's still just so much better things you want to do than just minus power in their lane. And they also have to build up a lane, and then you hit them Spider-Woman. If they haven't built it up yet, or they're building up on the final turn, you can't really get value out of Spider-Woman. Squirrel Girl. C tier card. You play in tier 1 on turn 1. It puts 1-drops in all lane, means you have power in every lane, which means you guarantee priority going into the second lane. There's nothing that really wants to take advantage of having priority going into lane 2. But the card is still just good. It's 1-1. It's 1-3 with a stat. It locks up all lanes, but you can play Squirrel Girl into a Killmonger to destroy your own Squirrel Girls to then lower the cost of death by 3, making your death come down way more sooner than she's able to be. Star-Lord, D tier card, I think it's +2, which is 2/5, good stat line. But you have to predict where they go. You play them on turn 2, it's quite annoying, hard to do. Stature, if your opponent discards a card, she costs 0, I believe. I still think she's good. She's not as amazing as she used to be. She's been easy A tier. I think she's a B tier now. Her deck archetype's gonna get knocked down a lot. A lot of nerfs. Storm. Another B tier card. Is she B? Arguably A. I'm putting her in A. She might be a B tier card. No, I'm putting her in B. Turns the lane into a flooded location, basically meaning next turn will be the only turn you can play cards, and then the lane will be locked forever. Great with Juggernaut, great with Doctor Doom, great with, like, Jeff. Yeah, decent card. Strong Guy, F tier card. I don't know who's playing Strong Guy, but they need to put down the Hennessy. They are tripping, and they need to drop that shit now. Sunspot, A tier card. A lot of decks like to pass in the early turns. Sunspot is great for catching that extra energy, especially in a She-Hulk deck where you want to pass on turn 5. Sunspot catches all that energy, basically meaning there's like no real downside. A small downside, not a major downside into passing on turn 5. Super Skrull, C tier card. When he's good, but he's barely ever good. Maybe even D tier card for that reason alone, actually. Swarm. Yeah, he's a D tier card. Swarm. Is it A or B? I think he's an A tier card. If you discard the card once, he's a 0/6. He'll add 2 copies of him to your hand and then make both of the cost 0, but he keeps his 3 power. Meaning discarding him once is a 3/6. Play him alongside Carleen Wing. Carleen Wing comes down, hits the Swarm. Carleen Wing is 2 cost, 4 power, +2, 0 cost. 3 power cards. That's 2 cost, 10 power. It's insane combo. Swordmaster, C tier card, arguably like D tier card. Once you get like good discard cards, like he's random, which is really bad. He's 36, which is decent, but the fact that he's random could hit like some cool cards. You can't really play it with Hela because he'll probably hit your Hela. You can't really play it with like. There's so many different archetypes you just don't want to play the guy. He's 36, he's decent stat line, but him being RNG when he hits is just bad. Taskmaster, easy A tier card. Play any deck that plays a large card on turn 5. Play this card on turn 6. He's huge. Just amazing tier card. Thanos. I said earlier, I think Thanos is like super strong right now. I think Thanos is easy A tier. Put Infinity Stones in your deck. Really good with the Jubilee. Really good, not Jubilee. Really good with Lockjaw. He's a lot of support this season. He's just doing amazing this season. The Collector. I think the Collector is a B tier card. A lot of people rate this card really highly. No, he is an A tier card. Devil Dinosaur loves this guy. Discard, sometimes play him. I think in Discard he's not really it, but in Devil Dinosaur he gets like quite big. The Thing, C tier card. Thing high Evo is okay if you play for that. Nah, is it? I'm put the Thing in D tier. I don't think he's actually that good at all, actually. In Patriot deck, there's normally better things to do in 4. In high Evo decks, there's better things to do in 4. There's just always something better to do than play the Thing. Thor? I'll put Thor in C tier. There's nothing crazy to say about him. He puts the hammer in your deck. It's okay. Good for Lockjaw decks. Our next up is Titania. Titania? Titan? I think he's a D tier card. I don't know why you would play this card. It's 1/5, I guess. You can jump over. Normally, it's quite easy to control. Not quite easy, but like, you're able to control where it'll end up. Either blocking your opponent's lane so they can't play cards into there, or dropping back to your side, giving you +5 power. It's okay, but I just think there's better things to do than her. Typhoid Mary. She's okay in a Shuri deck. That's the only place she's good in, though. And she's not even the best thing to do in a Shuri deck. She's more like a, oh no, I missed my other large cards. It's fine, I'll play Try-Hard Mary. Uatu. Easy F tier. What the fuck? Fuck Uatu. I put Ultron in C tier. I don't think he's that good, but he's okay. He fills the board with a bunch of 1/1s that have no ongoing ability. So in the Patriot deck, it's okay. They can kind of make it work, but it's just not the best. It's just normally, again, better things to do in turn 6. Valkyrie. I'll put in C tier. It can only really be played in Cerebro 3. That's it. That's all the only place you're playing it. But I think it's an okay deck, Cerebro 3. I think people underrate it. It's not amazing, so I think people think it's terrible because it's not amazing. But it's not bad. It's really not bad. Venom, easy A tier. Destroys the whole location but keeps the power. So buffs the null but still gets to keep the power. Destroys the Deadpool but still gets to keep the power. It's an amazing card. Viper, solid B tier card. Now that Annihilus is in the game, Viper isn't mandatory anymore to send over like the Sentinel's Void, but you still can in case you miss the Annihilus. Not the Annihilus. Yeah, if you miss the Annihilus and you still play the Sentry, you can still use Viper to send over the Void. So it's still good as like a backup plan, but that's what it really is. Vision, I think it's a solid B tier card. Play Vision down on turn 5. He's at 8 power at cost now, or 8 power card now. And then you can move into locations that you can't really get into, like Death's Domain, like Bar with No Name, like the Library. And the fact that you can get in there with 8 power makes him stronger than Doctor Doom, unless they do Odin. And also better than Jeff. So yeah, decent card. I wouldn't sleep on him. Next up, Vulture. I think Vulture is A tier. I think he's one of the main reasons you want to play move deck. One of the best targets to hit with move. You don't like. He's like Human Torch, where you don't want to just keep force moving him. You want to like move everything about like roughly equally. You want to move about the Human Torch and Vulture. So don't just all in on one or the other. You kind of want to go 50-50 on them. Warpath. I think a C tier card. If you're only playing 2 lanes, Warpath gets bonus power. He's only good if you like play it like that. But he's decent. You play him in a Destroyer deck and surprise people with Warpath. They think the Warpath is turned off. They forget that you can turn it on with a Destroyer. You play Destroyer, you turn him on. You get a huge power spike. They're like, wait a minute, how did that happen? And you're like, yeah, get done. Wasp. I think a B tier card. You play in high Evo. You don't really want to play in high Evo. You mainly play it with like Lockjaw and where is it? Thor. Which Thor is? Where is she? And Thor here. Jane Foster. Sorry. Here and Lockjaw, great combo to help like find her, place her in, play it with Thor, find the other hammers, play them into the Lockjaw lane, pull out giant cards. Amazing combo. Wave, S tier. Is he S tier? Definitely easy A. Yeah, A tier card enables a lot of like big decks from activating, or like enables a lot of combo decks for activating. Kind of like an Electro, you can play Wave down on 3 and then you can ramp into a Doctor Doom into Odin. The only downside is you only get to ramp once, but you can ramp out a 6 cost sooner. So, great card, decent. White Queen. I think a D tier cost. 4/6 is not that good of a stat line, and all she does is adding a card from your opponent's hand into your hand. It gives you intel, but it's just not really like amazing intel. Like by turn 4, you probably know what they're playing. You don't need to know like what's going on. The main idea of the card is they see what's in their hand, but other than that, like, it doesn't really do much. White Tiger, C tier card. There's some decks that you can play, like an Honorable Reveal deck where you just want to keep spamming out White Tigers. They're 8 power cost cards. You can spam out a lot of them. It's a decent power board. It's not crazy strong, but it is decent. Wolfbane. I think it's a D tier card. I think Wolfbane kind of sucks nowadays. She used to be decent. You see her in Mr. Negative decks. You can see her in, like, bounce lists, but even then it's weird to see in a bounce list, and Miss Negative decks don't really want to play Wolfsbane, but she can be playing Wolfsbane. Wolverine. B tier card. You see him in discard, you see him in destroy, but discard and destroy never really want to destroy Wolverine. But like if they don't have anything else to destroy, they're more than happy to destroy or discard Wolverine. So they like to play him. But he's really not, like, amazing to hit. You'd rather see any other, like, good targets to hit. Wong? Wong is a B tier card. He used to be A. I feel like he's fallen out a bit. I'll put him into B. I might try to make a deck using Wong, bring him back. But for now, I'll leave him in B. Yellow Jacket, F tier trash. Yondu. Solid B tier card. Destroy one card in the opponent's deck. It'll be the top card of the opponent's deck, so they could have played it. But because you destroyed it, they can't play it anymore. You can hit any of their like amazing combos. Like if they're playing Galactus deck, you just hit the Galactus, they're done. If they're playing like a Tribunal deck, you hit the Tribunal, they're done. So he can solo and win games. For that reason, I'll put him in B, because he can solo. Next up, Zabu, easy S tier. Not S tier. A tier. Oh, makes your 4-drops cost less. You play him in a Sarah deck, play him in a Negative deck, play him in a Darkhawk deck, play him in any deck that has more than like two 4-drops. He's just great. Zero, decent card. I put him in B tier. He's good in Shuri decks. Good in like any deck that you have like a negative effect. You want to cleanse the negative effect. You play Zero. The hard thing about Zero is it's hard to play like Zero into like something. Like, Zero into Lizard is kind of the combo playline, but sometimes you can't really do that. It kind of gets tough. Next up, Abomination. B tier card. He's decent. I think High Evo Hulk is better than High Evo A-Bomb, but I've not really tried out High Evo Affliction decks, more like High Evo, like, Hulk decks. Like She-Hulk decks, that makes sense. So I'll put him in B. They might have potential to be A, but I'll leave him in B for now. Absorbing Man. B tier card. It copies the on reveal effect of the last card you played. Quite decent. It's basically the mystique of reveal. Pretty decent. Adam Warlock. F tier card. Arrow. I think B tier card. Might even be able to push it into an A, but she's just not amazing like she used to be. 5'7" isn't that good of a stat line. No, she's 5'9" now, which actually is a decent stat line. Is she an A tier card? I still don't think she's an A tier card. So you can force move one of your opponent's cards on... Like the card they play, you'll move that card to the location Arrow is at. Force messing up their combos. But you don't often get to play plays like that with Arrow. But when you do, it's really good. So I'll leave her in B because she's high potential. But she's just not like free as she used to be. Agatha. I'll put her in C tier. She's fun. She's cool. She's quirky. She's decent. But she's not amazing by any standards. Hitmonkey. Also in C tier. Hitmonkey used to be insane. Nowadays, I don't think he's that good. The deck he's playing him, he can win games. You know, he's B tier. He does win games. He's just not as amazing as he used to be. Jeff, another A tier card. Jeff goes with Jeff Pleases. If the lane's locked, he gets in there. If the lane is unable to play cards in there, he gets in there. You play him down. You know what? I don't want Jeff to be here no more. Jeff can wander somewhere else. Jeff goes with Jeff Pleases. And he goes into the A tier slot. Snow Guard. Snow Guard is a weird card, but it adds 2 cards to your hand, which is quite decent. And the 2 cards they get are also quite good. So I put it in B tier. You mainly see it in a Devil Dino list. And it's decent in Devil Dino's list, but like you can not have it and still be just as fine. Stegron's up next. I don't like Stegron. I'll put him in D. You place him down. If your opponent plays a card here, he's like Juggernaut. He'll like swipe it away. Sorry, he swipes away any card if you place him down. But like if it's lower power than him, I believe. I don't remember exactly the requirement. It's kind of annoying, but like it doesn't really do that much because you can normally play him early on. And early on, if you move the card, your opponent can just play around with what the new board state is, so it doesn't really like disrupt enough. Next up, Howard the Duck. I think a D tier card lets you see the next card on top of your deck. Good for info gathering, but like he's a 1-2 not good stat line, 1-3 he would be I. Seeing what's on top of your deck doesn't matter too much. It can help with Iron Lad, which is who's up next. A tier card. Basically has the ability to be every other card in the game. RNG which one he hits, but if you build your deck in a specific way, no matter what he hits, is like great value. 4-6 is decent stat line. You really do want way more than that, like a 4-8. But like you can manage the 4-6 with such a powerful upside of like could just become a Jeff, could just become a Wave, could just become anything really. Living Tribunal I think is a B to an A tier card. I think Living Tribunal is A. I think Tribunal decks are decent. He's a 6-9 now, Lamau. I don't know why he came out 6-4, that was crazy. He's got +5 power now. Really strong card, really great card. Yeah, leave him in A tier. Next up, Nebula. One of the best 1-drops in the game, if not the best 1-drop. I like Iceman over her. Sunspot also is quite good. But if you're not playing Sunspot or Nebula, you're playing... sorry, if you're not playing Sunspot or Iceman, whatever he is, you're playing Nebula. She's an amazing 1-drop. You play her down. She might be a 1-1, but if your opponent doesn't like play a card where she is, she has +2 power, quickly becomes a 1-3, then a 1-5, and then just keeps scaling. Forcing your opponent to play into her lane, giving you like information knowing where they're playing and able to build up the other lanes on like your own tempo, while they have to play on your tempo. High Evo. I think High Evo is really good. I put him at A tier. High Evo deck's really strong. He makes all non-ability cards have abilities and unlocks their true potential inside. High Evo normally played with Infinite and She-Not. I normally play Hulk. Normally play a lot of other like non-ability cards. Just decent card. Solid A tier. Good deck. Spider-Man 2099. C tier card. When his ability activates, he moves and destroys something on your opponent's board. It can be devastating. I also think he's 9 power now. I think it's a 4-9. I might be wrong about that. It might still be 4-6. No, he's a 5-9. That's what it is. He's 5-9 now. You move him. He destroys the card on your opponent's side of the board. He's decent power for like cost. You kind of do want a bit more, but it's fine. And yeah. The one downside of him, he can only activate once per game, which again is kind of an upside because you wouldn't want this being on in the meta otherwise. But because of that, he's kind of limited in C tier. Spider-Ham. I think Spider-Ham is a B tier card. He used to hit the most expensive card in your opponent's hand or highest power cost card. I forget which one it was. It's one of the two, highest power or most expensive. But now he hits the leftmost card in your opponent's hand, so it doesn't always hit the like giant combo piece. You can just hit a random piece of trash. But you still can have the upside of just hitting the like Doctor Doom, hitting the Odin, hitting the Apocalypse, hitting the Null. So many good hits it could hit, and if it hits it, you basically win. Silk? I bet Silk in C tier. She's good with specifically Kraven, because she jumps around the board a lot, and that means Kraven randomly will get a bonus amount of power. But other than that, there's not really much upside for like having a card move to a location other than buffing itself. But this card doesn't buff when it moves. So it's kind of weird in that aspect, but it moves quite a lot. That's all I'll say. Ghost Spider. Now this card is decent. Still don't think it's crazy, but I will put it in B tier. Ghost Spider will move a card in your location. No. Will move a card in your side of the board to the location you play Ghost Spider. Basically acting as a move, but it's a random move. It's a little bit worse, I would say, than where is he? Iron Fist. Iron Fist is a 1/2. She's a 2/3, so 1 power more for 1 energy more, and also it's a bit more random what she pulls. Where Iron Fist is more like targeted, you have to pick what you move. But still like quite decent. Shouldn't be slept on. Legion. You could argue this guy is an S tier card, but I'm gonna put him in A tier. Sometimes, depending on the location, they're pretty much not ready for it. You can play the card. If you have something that's like a bar with no name, you play. You pass. You play Legion on your final turn. All locations become bar with no name, and you just win the game off that. You can make. There's so many insane plays you can make with this card. It has to be an A tier. Fire Force. I'll put it in C tier. Fire Force. You want to destroy your cards. You want to play like Killmonger plus Human Torch, and then bring it back with Fire Force. And if you do that play, it's decent. But if you don't do that play, it's kind of sleep. Like this card doesn't really do much. So I'll leave it in C tier. It kind of like combines move and destroy archetype, but move and destroy is not really like a good combo right now. Echo, C tier card. There's better ways to stop ongoing. This is one of the cheaper ways to stop an ongoing card, but it only stops 1 ongoing card, but also denies them from even playing it into that lane. So if they wanted to, they could just play it in a different lane. But if you know they want to play the ongoing card, if you can predict that it's coming down, it's good then. Other than that, it's not really good. Jean Grey. Jean Grey is bad. I'm going to put it in F tier. Way better cards than here. X23, I think, is an S tier. No, A tier card. Up she goes. 1 cost, 2 power, decent. You would kind of want more power for that. But every time she gets destroyed, she gets regenerated right back in a random slot in your lane. Plus gives you 1 power. Great for destroy decks. Just keep destroying it over and over and over again, while giving themselves constant energy up. So they're always playing 1 energy above. Weirdly giving destroy decks ramp. Also, it's for discard. Discard the card in your hand, it jumps onto the board. You don't have to pay any power for it. Plus, you get +1 energy. So it's quite decent in that as well. Dakin. I think Dakin is C tier. I think last discard patch, he was B to an A tier card. I think you have better cards to play other than Dakin. Kind of sad because I swiped a lot of my like keys trying to unlock him. But I think it's a solid C tier card. Lady Death Strife. Put in C tier. I don't really see her playing a lot. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she's a B tier card. Maybe she's higher. Her effect is just good though. Destroy like all cards with less power than this. A huge like board destruction ability. But quite hard to like power her up to make her like insane. So I'll leave her at C tier. Next up, Rona. I think Rona is solid. I put her in B tier. Good. She's like basically energy cheat. Energy cheat is always good. Reduces the cost of any card with 1 or less power. Certain card, but the energy cost can't go lower than 1. Only certain cards want to play this in a Missing Negative deck. This is like a must-have card. This and Zabu. Great combo. Morbius M. Mobius. He's filling out the meta. I still think he might come back, especially next season. But for now, I think I'll put him in C tier. He subs your cards from being able to like... The opponent can't reduce the cost of your cards, and they can't increase their cards. I think that's how it works. No, sorry, the other way around. They can't increase your cards, but they can't reduce their own cards. Quite an annoying ability to deal with, but right now there's not a lot of that going on in the meta. I might put him in B tier anyway, but I think he's a C tier guy. Next up, Loki, easy S tier. Not S tier, A tier. I'm sorry I keep saying that. Yep, one of the cool cards of Devil Loki. Replaces your whole hand with your cards from your opponent's deck, but they all have reduced cost. It lets you spam their cards out way faster. The deck you play them in wants to have a huge hand anyway, so you always have like a bunch of cards to swap over. All around great card. Alioth is up next. Okay, unpopular take. I think Alioth is B tier. I think old Alioth was easy A to S. No, definitely S, easy A. I think new Alioth is kind of sleeper now. Now you need to have priority, and he can still only destroy the one lane. So even if you have priority, it's not even guaranteed they play into the lane. A lot of things in the way now, so I'll put him in B, but I'll put him high B. Next up, Niku Monaro. I think another high B card. I don't think she's A anymore. She used to be playing in like a lot of different decks. She's a solid 1-drop, but I think there's just better 1-drops to play than her. But if you need like a super flexible 1-drop, and you're just trying to play like, you're basically trying to fit the role of a lot of cards into one card, Niku Monaro is the card for you. It's like a Swiss Army knife of cards, but it's RNG which thing of the Swiss Army knife comes out. So next up, Black Knight. I think Black Knight is okay to sleeper. The Black Knight archetype I don't think is doing too good right now. You can play him into like APOC. Also play Hela with it as well. APOC, Hela, Black Knight. It is a possible combo. I don't really love it though, so I'm going to leave it in B tier. But could be C or A, easy. Elsa Bloodstone used to be crazy. It's kind of mid now, kind of sleeper now. Play it with, no, I think I could put it in B still. Play it with Angela, play it with Kitty Pryde. The card's still good. But you really need like those 3 cards each game to make like these cards any good. Like the 3-card combo, you need those 3 cards, so this deck just does not really perform properly. Man Thing. I think Man Thing is D tier. Kind of upsetting. I thought it was gonna be good into the in a Hazmat Toxic archetype. That archetype just has not appeared yet, has not been good. I'm not sure what they could do for this card. Maybe reduce his cost, maybe keep his power like somewhat relatively the same, but he needs a buff somehow. Mirage, okay. Mirage has kept a lot of C tier cards in C tier, because I think she's the queen of replacement cards. You play the card down, you add a card to your hand. The card will always be cheap from your opponent's hand. It'll be always from your opponent, so giving you intel, and it'll have plus power, so yours will be better than theirs. I think it's an amazing card. It gives you info, gives you like resources, gives you good resources as well, because there's always plus power stat on it, so it'll always be like value. Great card. Miss Marvel, I think it's another A tier card. Not many people are still playing here, but I still think she's an amazing card. More people should play here as well. She's still good. Her control archetype is still like quite strong. Play with Doctor Doom. Still have like, you still can play Annihilus, don't get me wrong, but it's a lot weaker. A lot of her tools got nerfed, but she's still strong. Werewolf by Night, I think it's still, I'm gonna say he's an A tier card. He might be a B tier card now. I'm not too sure. I don't see a lot of this guy as well. But like, he's quite easy to get going. Play like 2 on reveal. Play him, play 2 on reveals, and he's already got value out of him. Play any more, he goes crazy. It's quite a good card. Annihilus, I have favoritism in this card. I'm a big junk enjoyer. Easy A tier card. You play him down, any minus power cards on your side of the board from Century or from HUD gets sent over to their side. It's great. Galactus, surprisingly, nah, I can't put him in there. He's a B tier card, solid B tier card. His stat line is quite good. He destroys a random card of your opponent. If you just need a good 3-drop, like a solid, strong 3-drop, he's the card to play. But if you're not trying to play like a 3-drop slot, you can drop the guy. He's like so many better options. She is F tier. I've never seen her being playing once. She's so bad since she came out. She actively loses you the game. It's quite funny. Maybe for YouTube short farming, she's S tier, but otherwise F tier for sure. Selene. Selene is good. She's not crazy. I put her in B tier. You can still play the the junk archetype quite easy without Selene, but Selene is like quite a good card. It mainly hits your goblins, and the goblins over mess with their hand. But yeah, Selene's decent. Sebastian Shaw. Put him in C tier. I feel like the Sebastian Shaw deck is not really playing often. You normally playing with Silver Surfer. The whole combo just is not really played no more. Sorry to say. Blob. I think Blob is still... I think Blob is still in B tier. I mean, I like playing Blob. I really enjoy it. I think the deck is really good. Arguably could still say it's A tier. No, in Thanos decks, he's A tier actually. In Thanos, Blob is kind of nuts. Havoc. I think he's a B tier card. I think he's good. He's not crazy. He just scales himself so fast, so quick. Use something like a Venom, Viper or something. Send him over, fuck him over. Play him later on in the game. That's where I think turn 5 is the best to play him, but it might have been turn 4. I can't remember. But yeah, the card is great, really strong, quite decent. Rattle Ray Bill, that's his name. Decent card, not crazy. I think he's actually C tier. I think there's so many better things to do. No, I'll put him in B tier because I think he's on the same level as Thor, and the main idea is still to play him with like Lockjaw, I think, and then Jane Foster, and he helps the consistency with that deck. So I'll put him in B tier, but could be a C tier because it's just like he helps with consistency. I'll put him in B, but he's a low B. I think she's a B tier card. She's able to protect your 1-drops, protect your 6-drops, protect you from the best card in the game, Shang-Chi. Might be a reason if you ever do see a 1-drop deck come back, this is going to be the reason the deck comes back, because you're able to protect your cards from Killmonger, wherever he is, or he is Killmonger, and Killmonger will drop down in value. Next up, Meek. I think he's a C tier card. I think this card has so much better things to do than play Meek. But if you have Meek, you have a 1-drop slot open. For some reason you're not playing Blade, or for some reason you're not playing X-23 and you still want a 1-drop and you don't want to play Iceman or you don't want to play Nebula, then you can play Meek, I guess. But I feel like you're just playing those over Meek any day of the week. Grandmaster Archivist. I feel we haven't seen enough of him. I'm going to leave him in C tier. No, in B tier, but he hasn't really like popped off like everyone thought he was going to pop off. Hercules. I think Hercules is F. No one's playing this guy. He needs a buff. Scar, I think easy B to C tier. Yeah, solid B tier. Great in a Thanos deck. It's kind of only where you're seeing this guy. There might be other decks pop up soon, hopefully. Playing Scar right now, like really quite decent in a where is he? In a Thanos deck, but not the main star of the Thanos deck. Black Swan. Okay, so I think Black Swan, if you look at what she did, I think Black Swan is a C tier card. I feel like people are expecting it to be a lot better than she actually was. But we just have not seen the 1-deck spam archetype really pop off. So I'm going to leave her in C tier, but she has potential, a lot of potential. Corvus Glaive, I think, is a tier card. I think he's great in Hela, he's great in Ramp, he's a decent guard. Great in just any discard, really. Cull Obsidian, I think, is a B tier card. Great for just Thanos decks. Super good power, 410, good stat line. Quite easy to get out because Thanos has all of his stones. If you're playing Blob with him, easy for Blob to eat him up as well. Just a solid card. Proxima Midnight, I think, is another B tier card. Not super important for playing discard, either one of the discards, but any discard who like enjoys playing here, just discard the card, play MODOK, hit it, gone. Pits like 7 power on the board. She does go to the weakest lane, which is probably the lane you're losing. So it's doesn't like it is like targeted where she goes, which is an upside, but she kind of goes to a bad spot, which is a downside. But her being just 7 power for free is just like great stats. So how you can be mad at 0-7? And then Super Giant, also not really performing like I think people were thinking, but like I think it needs time as well to perform. Alright, so that's the list. Hope you guys enjoyed. Shang-Chi, Armor.